Good morning and afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Flames Cast. It's myself, Kyle, along with Mr. Neil Villapiano. I hope everybody had a lovely weekend. I'll start with what I did on Saturday, and I'm going to ask you a quiz question.
Oh,
I know you said you had your Flames stat for me, so we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So what I did on Saturday, I'll give you. It'll be a quiz question. You ready for this? So you have to guess the movie that I ended up watching.
Okay.
All right. So this franchise turned 30 years old on Saturday. Okay. And it was the first film ever to be featured, ever to have it was the first ever computer animated feature film. Name that movie. I'll give you two hints.
All right.
Okay. So first one is there's another movie coming out in this spring.
This spring.
2026. Yep.
Okay.
And it's a Pixar movie. They turned 30 years old on Saturday.
30 this past Saturday. Okay,
this Saturday, 2 days ago.
1995. So it was 95.
95 was when the movie came out. Yeah.
And what was it again? It was the first movie to use what?
It's the first ever computer animated feature film that was made in 1995.
And it revolves around And it's a
Pixar. And it's a franchise.
Are you talking about a sports franchise, not a
No, it's you're not. Franchise. It's a movie.
That's
franchise.
what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, cool. It's a movie franchise. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's
a Toy Story?
Movie. It is Toy Story.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go. I got it. Let's go.
I grew up.
Is it really been 30? I did
30 years on Saturday.
On Saturday. I didn't see anything about it. How about that?
I saw it all over X on Saturday. That I was like, holy crap. And so I'm like, well, okay, I know what I'm going to do Saturday night. So I ended up watching it. And it was my childhood growing up because I had the original.
Oh, yeah, same.
And like you pull it in and you see all the trailers that show up beforehand, very nostalgic. I could probably say every single line in that movie. I've watched it that many times.
Did you watch any of the other ones? Yeah,
so I watched the third one too.
Not the second one?
The second one's like I get why people like it, but I was like, it doesn't hit the same for me.
I think for me it hit because of just the level of action there was in the second one comparatively to the first.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think they could have probably stopped after the second one.
I think they could have stopped at the third one was perfect, and now they're just rolling in the dough.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where it's for us who grew up on it, we're like, can't you just leave well enough alone, kind of thing. It's
I know. Well, those stupid things.
Andy left. Where's the story after that? There is no story.
I liked the fourth though, in the sense that you're wrapping up the main character's arc.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't really need to do it. Sure. But then, he's back and it's that doesn't make sense. I'm still going to go watch it. I don't care. I'm probably going to love it, but it's so stupid.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
That's great. I feel old. I feel really old.
We'll get into, I know it makes me feel old too. So today we're going to be talking a lot about Eric Francis' interview with Don Maloney. Flames are currently on a 3-game win streak. We'll get into that as well too, and we'll look into this week. Start with Neil though. You had a stat that you wanted to start us off with before we
because I can't find it. I can't find it on the computer, so I'll just bring it up here because I saw it this morning, and I immediately was like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to bring this up."
And we're going to go through a good chunk of the article with Eric Francis'.
So Barry Trotz was talking to Alex Doherty, who's the beat writer for the Tennessean covering the Nashville Predators, right?
Okay.
And they were talking about his top players, meaning, Steven Stamkos, Philip Forsberg, Ryan O'Reilly, those guys.
Sure.
Barry Trotz's response was, I need effing more from them. So clearly they're not scoring, right? Well, it turns out that the Nashville Predators are actually the worst team in the NHL in goals for per game, worse than the Calgary Flames, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
The Predators are averaging 2.29 goals for per game, while the Calgary Flames, our beloved Calgary Flames, are averaging 2.38.
Wow.
Another thing that's also hilarious is that the Flames don't even have the worst points percentage in the NHL. That would also belong to the Nashville Predators. Now, one thing to keep in mind. The Predators have played 3 fewer games than the Flames. So just keep that in mind. I think the Predators, like a lot of teams, are playing a lot of games this week and just over the next couple of weeks with the,
Yeah.
breaks coming up and everything. But
if you look at the West, like Calgary has played a lot more of the games than compared to a lot of
for
others.
sure.
Yeah.
4 of the 5 teams who have the worst goals for in the NHL are all from the Western Conference, which I don't know if that surprises you or not.
It kind of does. Yeah, a little bit. I'm surprised because teams in the East that I think people would have suspected that maybe would have been in that realm would have been like teams like Pittsburgh.
Here's another. Well, I'll give you one more crazy stat. So the Kraken, who lost last night in overtime to the Islanders, they now lead the NHL in overtime shootout losses. They are on pace to break the all-time NHL record of 18 in one season.
So they're almost in the same situation as what Calgary was last year because they had
Correct.
a lot, right? And they're going to wonder, like, if they end up missing the playoffs by 2 or 3 points, then that's going to come back and haunt them.
Yep. So that's your.
Wow.
It was great because it ties into obviously, us. So it's just funny because there has been obviously a lot of rumors with Nashville over the last couple of days or week.
Mhm.
I thought for sure that Andrew Burnett was going to get fired after the Global Series, but I think him getting that win in the first game, I think kind of saved him at least for now. But
sure, I think it's going to take probably till about late December before we really start seeing that. And for Flames fans too, like, for those who are worried about this 3-game winning streak, the tank is still. Well, the tank is still on because the games you have to go. They're on the Florida road trip here, Southeast road trip to Carolina, Florida, and Tampa Bay. Yep. That could change things because they are terrible in those games anyway, and so you hope that Devin Cooley gets a lot of those starts. Anyway,
shout out Devin Cooley with the ultimate quote of the week.
I know, and you know what? I was watching the game on Saturday, and he was really good. I have to give him a lot of credit. He's been very good.
Do we need to have a conversation
about him playing more games?
Yeah,
he'll play more games this year. Yeah, he's proven that. I think you got to give him credit. Like for a guy who's supposed to be a backup, and for Wolf who was playing 60 to 70 games, he was probably going to get 20. I think he might get 40-40 depending on the way this season goes.
And I think also, like, again, we were talking about at the beginning of the year with, like, what are the chances that Dustin Wolf maybe makes a run at being like the third goaltender for the United States in the Olympics? I still think that he has a fairly good chance given the situation.
Don't forget Hellebuck injured now.
Hellebuck is injured, so that might make things a lot more difficult.
You bet.
And it's interesting. But yeah, with Devin Cooley, like, it's just impressive. It's just impressive that
you got to give him his flowers. He's been
sure. And you wonder to yourself, if we had a better defense, what would his record look like right now?
True.
If we were scoring more, what would his record look like right now? I mean,
and also speaking of defense, guess who's the hottest defenseman in the NHL over the last 7 games?
I'm going to assume it's going to be Anderson. Yep.
Rasmus Anderson. He's been one of the hottest defensemen in points.
And that's fine with me.
And that's great with us. That's fantastic.
It's wonderful.
That'll work for us. We'll take it. Yeah. So, and again, we'll get into it because Elliot Freeman made some comments Saturday about Calgary, and it's a lot of teasing still.
Yeah.
Like these guys are going to go.
Freeman's good at that. But Freeman's good at like teasing. Like it's great. He's very good at like saying what people want to hear, but also not really saying it.
Exactly. Okay. So
also, I think we broke Quinn Hughes yesterday.
Oh yeah,
I think emotionally he looks so defeated after that game.
So had a call with Dylan about half hour ago and jumped on, right? And the first thing he did was he had his Canucks hat and he had a lighter. And he was going to light it on fire. And he was just like, and what's funny? I was telling him, I was like, you're kind of in the same situation, almost like in the Anderson way, because, maybe now's the time to think about it, right? In terms of the way the season might go, because you're going to get your most bang for your buck. You're going to get like 2 playoff runs if somebody is going to go out and willing to acquire Quinn because he doesn't have a no move clause on him. So it's like, get your most bang for your buck now and don't wait a year unless he gets injured. So
there will be like if you publicly say that like you are actively shopping Quinn Hughes or like you're willing to listen to offers, like you're going to get a lot of offers.
Everybody's gonna be calling. Holy
And you're
shit!
going to get like quality return, not just like picks, but like you could very well get a impact player or two that could, even though you probably will be ending up doing a rebuild, at least it will expedite it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because, like somebody said, would you trade Jason Robertson in a package for Quinn Hughes if you're Dallas? And I'm like,
Maybe.
It's hard not to think about it.
It's true. And it's also like you think about the teams that want to go on deep runs this year and next year. It's like, now's the time, right? If that's something that you might be willing to inquire about. So it wouldn't surprise me if they start making those kind of calls, but
I think we got to give it another month, honestly.
Yeah,
I think we got to get to like the new year before we really start looking at like
the output and starting to look at trades.
100%. Well, yeah, because right now we've heard a million rumors about everybody and nothing's happening.
We've been hearing rumors about everybody since fucking July.
July, that's true. I'm telling you, with the cap going up, teams are just so less willing to move people.
Of course.
So everything just goes quiet.
Stops. Exactly. Okay, let's get comfy, folks, because we're going to go over. So on the other, I believe it was on Thursday. My mistake. On Thursday, we had Brendan Parker of Sportsnet for the Flames. He jumped on an interview with Don Maloney. Don Maloney also made a interview as well too with Eric Francis, who works with Sportsnet, who also covers the Calgary Flames. So anyway, it was in an article mainly from what Eric Francis wrote. It was a fairly big article. It was a two-parter here of what he dived into with the president of hockey ops of the Flames here in Don Maloney. Safe to say, it feels like there's a reckoning that's going to happen here with Flames fans. So I'm not going to read all of it. I want to break down certain points within the article. We'll take it one step at a time. We'll go through it all. And we'll go from there.
Most of our episode is probably going to be just this.
Pretty much it's going to be a lot of this.
Which is fair, because what is there to really talk about other than we've won 3 in a row?
Yeah, we'll talk about last night's game at the end. But I feel this is more important because it pretty much summarizes this is the most important year in Flames history since 2004. On a grand scheme of things, it's a massive year, right?
Yeah.
So this was part one of his article where he asked Don about the assessment. Obviously, it's been poor, blah, 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 blah. What caught me immediately was this one here, where he says, where Eric Francis asks, it's the same personnel as last year, same coaching staff, same everything, different result. Can you put a finger on why? Don immediately goes, no, I quite frankly, I can't really put a finger on it. That's all we've been doing for the last month. It's evaluating everything that we've done from who we've signed and when we signed them to how we've trained to how we coach, and we haven't found the ingredient other than this lack of consistency. So what that tells me right there, Neil, is you didn't see this coming. We all saw this coming as Flames, right? And, podcast hosts and analyze it, whatever.
Right.
I think a lot of people can summarize that we saw this coming.
Sure.
Okay? Does that not make you a little bit afraid knowing that somebody like Don Maloney didn't see this coming, where you have everything was the same and it just so happened that because you're hoping for a saving grace that you have amazing defense and Dustin Wolf stood on his friggin' head all of last year?
Yeah. I think short answer, it is yes. The answer is incredibly concerning because it's like you are able to watch this team on a daily basis. You saw it last year. You didn't do a whole lot in the offseason to really kind of, if you were gonna go off of last year, I would have expected the team to maybe make a few more moves this offseason to try to continue on with what at least the expectation was. You brought back essentially the same team as last year. And I guess you were hoping that they would continue from where they left off last year and maybe take it a step further, which I can sort of see. But at the end of the day, if your expectation goes from what you saw last year to now we are a playoff team, you still have to add. You still have to make the team better. you can't just throw everything at the wall again and hope that it sticks. That's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over, knowing the result. But it is very concerning.
It is.
That
And
everyone else had the same concern about, is this team much better than last year? No. The problems from last year still exist. And now it's even more apparent because of where the team is in the standings and everything. And Maloney's like, that wasn't my expectation. And it's like, what was your expectation? What did you think was going to happen?
Exactly. He ended the question too with, it's still November, but if we're sitting here in February, March, and we continue to flounder, obviously there will be changes. Well, Don, there's only 5 fucking days in March until you get to the trade deadline. So maybe start thinking about it now, right? Why are you waiting till then, right? So just moving along here, so that tells me that, you're still going to be fighting obviously into January. Most of February is a no-show because of the Olympics, right? So you essentially, these next 2 months are the biggest months in this team's franchise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as we continue to move along here in the article, Eric Francis goes, has the start altered the organization's approach moving forward? Simply put, no, our message is the same. Well, what's the message, Don?
What is the message?
What's the message? At some point, so Francis continues, and he continues to go, at some point, if the losing continues, could this season possibly alter the approach of the organization? He answers, I don't think it would alter the long-term approach. We're so conscious of the culture here and creating the right environment to grow these players, and we feel it's better to grow winning players in a winning environment. We don't know that, Don. We don't know what that's like. We haven't had a winning environment since 2004, really. And I mean, if you want to talk about the Gaudreau and Kachuk era,
I was going to say, at least in that era, they were making the playoffs and things like that. So that's
sure. Here's the kicker. Here's what sent me over the edge, and also why I messaged you over the weekend, where I'm going to lose my crap here.
Yeah.
So here's what really caught me here. Okay, out of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Is the narrative accurate? So Francis asking, is the narrative accurate that the directive from ownership is that there's not going to be a reset or a rebuild? Don goes, no, I don't think that's accurate. We have a collective group here with Dave Nonis, Craig, myself, Brad Pascal, Peter Hanlon, and we discuss how we move forward. We all want to win a cup, yet there's a dynamic in Canada. You have 82 games. You want to sell tickets and get people to come to your games. So 2 things there, Neil, out of this entire 2-part article here. Problem number 1 is you have Dave Nonis.
Yeah.
Immediately. Did nobody watch Dave Nonis, what he did out in Toronto back in the late 2010 or mid 2010 era there with the Leafs, and how it was pretty much dog shit? Okay.
Yeah.
You've got Craig Conroy, who we'll get to later in this interview that he had, where you're not even really talking about an extension with him. Okay.
No.
Yourself, Brad Pascal, and Peter Hanlon, which are more or less behind the scene curtain guys. Okay.
Right.
So problem number 1 for me already is the fact that, these are the 5 guys at the helm of this organization here, with stupid Murray Edwards talking from behind. I hate the fact that Dave Nonis is with this team. I don't know about you, and I don't know the experience you've seen with Dave Nonis. I can't stand him. I can't. He has done nothing. He's done nothing. He did nothing when he was in Toronto for his short little GM tenure, too.
Yeah.
So, and I'll get you to comment on that. Let me get to this other part, though, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Think about what he said here. You want to sell tickets and get people to come to your games. Is that your main objective? Is that your main goal? The way that it sounds here? Oh, we all want to win a cup here, but you are very delicate on saying that you want to sell tickets and get people to come to your games.
Right.
Guess what, man? Nobody's going to want to come to your games this year if they're going to be shit.
It's true.
So, but also it's like you're telling the fans, like, okay, your primary goal is to sell tickets to us, but like, what are you selling us on?
Right.
This is the team that you're going to sell us on? So I'll let you chime in here, but those two things were just glaring to me right away.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do remember Dave Notice when he was in Toronto, and yes, he did a horrific job. Why do you think that the Shannon plan became a thing? Is because of the damage that Dave Notice created prior to that. I don't know if a lot of Leafs fans would say that was rock bottom during that time. Probably, or pretty close. Because he was just incompetent. Like, that's the word. It clearly just came down to, like, he had no idea what he was doing. And this is a classic example of, like, the boys club, right? We talk about all the time with, like, teams recycling old coaches. There's guys that just constantly get jobs no matter how many times they get fired.
Same thing here.
And this is another example of that as well. There are GMs that just constantly get opportunities, and there are guys who are in hockey in the executive role that will constantly get opportunities no matter what their track record is, because of their relationships with people throughout the league. If they are liked or are buddies with thus and so, they have a much higher chance of getting another job, even if they don't have that track record. That's really what it comes down to with that. So as far as Dave Notice is concerned, like, having him being a part of this, knowing the track record, is nothing but bad news. Like, there is no optimistic, positive spin you can put on that from anybody who's going to look at it from the fans' perspective and from just what you're seeing if you're not an executive. Because that's what it comes down to, right? Now, as far as the comment that he made about, selling tickets and getting people to come to your games, here's again what it comes down to. And I mentioned it last week, and I'll repeat the same thing that I said. The interest of the owners is not the same as the interest of the fans. And you don't got to go very far to look around the world of sports, especially in North America, and point at the amount of teams that have this kind of issue. And you say, what is the common denominator? Well, it depends on the owner. That it's the owner that runs it. Here in the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area, the team that stands out the most is the New York Jets, who have Woody Johnson.
Cool.
The Jets have won 2 games this season, Kyle, so far. And after they won their game against Cincinnati, Woody Johnson had the balls to then increase season ticket prices.
Oh.
And PSLs, like, and for those in Canada, I don't know if PSLs is a thing. I actually don't know if it is or not. Probably not. But
what's it stand for? PSL?
Prior something, like, basically it's buying the right to buy season tickets.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that in Canada. I don't
you
know.
You buy yourself to get into the queue, basically.
Right. You spend a certain amount of money.
Got it.
To then have the access to then spend more money to then get the season tickets. Do you understand that's the so stupid crazy. Part of that? Right.
That's so crazy.
So this comment right here is simply saying this. At the end of the day, we are not thinking in the long term. We are thinking, how are we going to get people to come to our arena now? So that is really what it's coming down to with why have the Flames not fully gone through a full legit rebuild. It's because the ownership doesn't want to sit there, have the reality that for maybe a couple of years, attendance is not where you would like it to be. But knowing that if you do this correctly, the long-term gain is that your attendance will go up dramatically.
So having said that, let me continue it and I'll let you keep going.
Sure.
Within the question still, Don Maloney continues to say, the draft is such an inexact thing. If you could be guaranteed that you could get a superstar or a franchise level player every year, I'm sure ownership of any team would say, okay, yeah, we'll suffer for 2 or 3 more years. I give you examples so far, by the way, of Macklin Celebrini, Connor Bedard, Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, number ones, just saying here, right? He finishes by saying, we just don't think that's the way for us. We prefer a Dallas model where they got Miro Heiskanen at 3, but also got good players in the 20s and the 30s. we've got to be better in our drafting and development versus saying, let's just lose easy for everybody. We don't want that culture as part of this organization. Right. So you want the Dallas model where they got Miro Heiskanen at 3. Didn't you just finish saying that if you wanted a guaranteed superstar franchise level player, then you kind of have to get to that point in the first place?
Yep.
And Dallas, who, by the way, before their success, really in the, started in 2020, I would guess? Give or take, 2019, 2020?
When they started winning?
Yeah, like probably back to when 2019.
And keep in mind, that was I mean, in the bubble year was probably
give or take
when they started. Yeah, I mean, because look at what they did in 2020, for God's sakes.
Right. Like they got it took them 2 years to probably get to that point in 2019 where they lost in Game 7 to the eventual Cup winners in St. Louis, and then look what they did in 2020. They went to the final. It took them 2 years to get to this point.
It did.
So that's it's crazy to me that he says that. But you're also, okay, you've also got to get good players in the 20s and the 30s. Like, how often do we see, realistically, Neil, not a sarcastic question here, like, how often do we see guys in the late 20s and 30s of the draft, right, picked 20 to 30s, do we see guys really flourish?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, compared to what you see in the top 10.
Right. It doesn't happen often. I mean, I would say that when you're drafting in the 20s and 30s, you have a higher chance of maybe just drafting a decent player.
Right.
But again, it just comes down to this, right? It comes down to the reality of it's not just about where you're drafting. It's about once you make those selections and you know that these are the guys that you want to be a part of your future, how do we put them in the best possible position to develop and succeed in the right way? That's what people have given Jim Nill a lot of credit for in Dallas, of why we come to this Dallas model, where Jim Nill came from the Detroit Red Wings, who had a 20-plus year streak of making the playoffs. Why was that? Because for the longest time, they knew how to draft. Then they knew how to develop said draft picks and go from there. So Jim Nill takes that approach, brings it to Dallas, and it's the same thing. Yep. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that the Flames have to go out and get someone in their scouting department in Dallas to then create this whole model and everything. No. What it comes down to is that you obviously need to have good evaluators of talent. You have to do extensive research on that. But then the next part of it, because the job doesn't finish once you draft, it's for the next 2 or 3 years, how are those guys going to develop, and how do we get them to the point where they are going to be, top flight players?
And build something around them.
Yeah, sure. It's great if you, for a year or a couple of years, you're in the top 3, top 5 of a draft. Maybe you get the number 1 overall pick. Great. There is nothing wrong with luck. Absolutely nothing wrong with luck, right? But at the end of the day, again, how often do even the top 10 guys become top flight players? There are a lot more of them, but there's still so many. I'll give you one recent example. I'll give you 2 recent examples. Kaapo Kakko was drafted 2nd overall in 2019.
Sure.
And did nothing for 5 years.
For the Rangers, yeah.
The Rangers. And to the point where they traded him to Seattle, and now, other than him being hurt, has flourished. Alexis Lafreniere was drafted number 1 overall 2 years later by the Rangers, who somehow went from being in the play-in round to winning the draft lottery, which was insane.
Cool.
The Rangers have never been a team that was about drafting and developing. They've always been about spending as much money as possible on top flight players and hoping that it comes together and you get the results that you've gotten. There are teams out there that just don't draft and develop. Not always because they don't want to, but because they just don't have the right people in place.
And frankly, they can't because
they
of
can't.
the economy that they're in, like
There
the
you go.
Rangers.
And
Right?
that's another factor. Think about where you're playing. Think about that situation and everything that goes about it. Do you think the Edmonton Oilers right now are thinking where we're going to be in the next 5 years from a young team's perspective? No. They're literally focusing on how do we get to be as good as we possibly can be while we have the best player in the NHL and two of the best, maybe 5 players in the NHL who take up 2/3 of your salary cap.
Right.
Like, it all depends. But in this situation with the Flames, it comes down to this. You are in the muddle middle. I hate to put it in that terms, but it's the truth. You are not in a position where you have a huge opportunity to then fully rebuild in the sense of, you have guys who are fully ready to go in the NHL. Not just yet, but you have a lot of young players that in the next 2 or 3 years are going to be there. That's just how it goes. But you are nowhere close to being a cup contender. And I'm very sorry. It's just not there. You have no chance. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it.
No, because you're right. Because like if again, we've been saying it too. Like if they go on a run, let's say they go on a run here and win 10 in a row here. Nobody's convinced this team's going to do anything.
No, why would anybody be convinced of that?
No, but not a single person would be convinced.
Especially around the league.
20 games in a row, nobody's going to be convinced.
No,
right?
No,
That's the thing. So I don't understand the logic behind whatever he's saying because he's saying two-sided things. But it's like the reason why Dallas had Miro in the first place is because they had a top 3 pick. So I don't know what you're saying here, Don. Right? And frankly, he should have never done this in the first place. He needed to stay behind doors and shut up. Right? So it goes on here.
By the way, this was great.
Eric Francis was phenomenal in
He's
this
so
interview.
good. He is so good at his job.
Amazing questions, tough, hard-hitting questions. I'm so glad that he asked the questions that he did, like this one. So he continues going by saying, with a top-heavy draft that includes Gavin McKenna, is it not enticing to see lean in the hand that you've been dealt early this year? In a fantasy world, yeah, unfortunately, this isn't fantasy hockey. There's not even agreement anymore. McKenna's going first.
No,
There's very few franchise players in every draft, regardless of where we pick 1, 5, 10. Our hope is that we get a top level player, and that's not all our focus.
What?
So, sorry, I was going to cut you off there. I don't know if you're going to.
No, I'm just like when he said that Gavin McKenna's not guaranteed anymore. I'm like,
which is fair. I think it's fair though because he hasn't had the best start with Penn State this year. And there's a kid out in Europe named Ivar Stenberg who looks like the second coming of Peter Forsberg.
You'll take Philip Forsberg
too. Yeah, but he looks stellar. He looks so good.
But
that's not to take anything away from what Gavin McKenna can be.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is.
Knowing the Flames, they'll draft neither one of them, and they'll draft.
And you know what?
That we didn't have.
Here's my biggest. Here's another worry of mine, though, which is why I don't have a lot of confidence with this group of dudes going forward. Minus Craig Conroy, because he's the only person I trust out of the 5 names that he mentioned earlier. Right?
Facts.
Say you pick top 3. Say you get McKenna or Stenberg. Right? Either way, I think both players would be massive pickups for the Flames.
Yeah.
Right? Who says that they develop them properly?
Yep.
Who says that they put them with the right people? You know what I mean? So Francis continues to go, and I loved this question here because you're seeing the success now of Chicago and Anaheim. So Francis goes, is there not a lesson to be learned by the fact that the top 4 leading scorers in the league now are all number 1 picks overall? And teams like San Jose, Chicago, and Anaheim, and the Islanders, if you want to throw them in too, have all turned around with their star draft picks leading the way. So here's Don. Again, in a fantasy world, it's very enticing. You have to deal with the real world too. First of all, we're very early in the season. Let's see how it plays out the rest of the year for those teams. Fair. We have seen it in the past where the Ducks did it last year and they did fumble. Fair enough. No disrespect. Those teams are really good. But on that side, look at some of the other teams that have been in this. I don't want to say the teams. I mean, you should at this point, but they've been down and missed the playoffs for years and years and years. Gee, I wonder who he's referring to right now. Maybe Buffalo, right?
It's not.
And then you
I
lose
feel.
your
I feel
fan.
bad. I feel bad for Buffalo. They didn't need to be.
No,
roped
but
up.
still, it's
But they just didn't need to be roped into this.
at the time this happened, they were in Buffalo. And then he finishes by saying, and then you lose your fans, you lose your interest, and nobody wants that. You don't know what we want, dipshit. Listen to your fans. You know what they need to do? All 5 of them, minus Craig Conroy being the idiots that they are, they need to sit in a room, shut their traps for an hour, and let the season ticket holders sit there and tell you exactly what they want this year.
Yeah.
They want you to suck. They want this so badly. You are not going to lose your fans, and you're not going to lose your interest because of this, because of the way the season has started. We haven't seen a top 3 pick. I can't even remember the last time they had a top 3 pick. Iginla? Was even Iginla a top 3 pick? I don't think so.
I'm gonna look this up while you're talking.
Fair enough. When was the last time the Flames had a top 3 pick? Like, it's been forever. So why don't you sit there, shut up, and listen to your season ticket holders who know what they go ask Barbara, who sits behind Ryan Huska, who's your yearly season ticket holder, and she probably even knows she's getting tired of this shit.
Yeah.
We are getting tired of this. We're getting tired. That's the reckoning that I was talking about. And this is where he thinks he's going to lose fans and interest, and he's going to lose money because people aren't going into the seats anymore. Yeah, because you're putting bad product in the ice, and we want to see something fresh, like getting a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
Do you know what it was?
Yeah, it was 34 years ago when the Flames drafted John LeClair 2nd overall. Yeah.
And whatever happened to him? Like, we don't know what happened to him. So fuck me. Like, it's been 34 years since
Did he not?
top 3 pick.
Maybe he not a Hall of Famer.
What is he, a Hall of Famer? I don't know.
John LeClair, right? Are we?
Oh, LeClair. Sorry.
John LeClair. Yes.
Sorry. Yes. So, but that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, yes, that's what I'm saying. 34 fucking years we've seen a top 3 pick.
It's true.
And LeClair, sorry, you're right. He did become a Hall of Famer.
Not with the Flames, but a Hall of Famer.
But eventually he became a Hall of Famer.
He became a legend 2 years later with the Habs.
This is crazy talk. This is crazy shit.
I know.
This is crazy
shit. It's the definition of insanity. I told you, man. It's doing the exact same thing, expecting somehow the result to be different, and it's not.
Right. So
it's logic.
So if you want the Dallas model and you started by saying Miro Heiskanen at number 3, you have to get a top 3 fucking pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is that if you like you were talking, he was talking about the Dallas model, and like, yes, they did draft guys like Logan Stankoven later on in the draft for sure. Which, by the way,
well, it's working out beautifully now for Carolina.
Stankoven is not even with Dallas anymore, and look, that drafting and developing led to the Stars having value of that to be able to get a good player as well in
right.
But again, the Stars did get a top 3 pick. You talking? They did not draft Miro Heiskanen 25th overall.
Exactly.
It didn't happen, right?
Joe Burrow, by the way, is coming back next week. Sorry.
Fantastic. My friend will be thrilled behind that.
Anyway, sorry.
By the way, that's another franchise. That's another sports franchise where the owner could give a rat's you know what about the fans. But
so
this whole thing again comes down to if the owner decides that this is what he wants to do, there just isn't anything we can do about it. And that's why I told you last week why I feel so bad for Craig Conroy, because I am now starting to believe that his hands are so tied at times because he can't do exactly what he wants to. I wouldn't be surprised if he has wanted to move some guys earlier this year or last year that he couldn't because the owner had to open his mouth and be like, "Oh, Kadri's not available." Well, then that's just great.
So this is, you know what I'm thinking about right now? This is going to be fascinating to watch. Okay, and then we'll get to break here in a second.
Sure.
If Conroy goes ahead and moves Kadri this season, and Coleman, and who else am I thinking of? Anderson, thank you.
And that's the important
one. If he moves all 3 of those guys, and maybe more,
Maybe more.
What would it say that Conroy doesn't get an extension?
I think it's very high he doesn't.
Right.
I think it's very high he
And
doesn't.
then we're all being like, oh, so we know exactly what's going on here. You're hog tying this guy. He pretty much decided that I'm going to do this. You hired me as the GM. I'm going to make these moves, which I think he probably will. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if somebody like Murray Edwards swoops in and goes, nope, you're not doing it our way. You're not getting an extension. Move on. We want somebody to do it our way.
And I can guarantee you, Kyle, I can guarantee you that Dave Nonis becomes the next GM of this team.
I would probably riot at that. I think that's why I'm saying.
I think you'd stop being a fan.
I'm telling you,
I think this podcast would end if that happened. I honestly believe it.
I wouldn't support it. I wouldn't support it. And I don't think Flames fans would stand for it either.
And don't think for a second that Craig Conroy wouldn't get another opportunity somewhere else.
Oh, God. Of course he will. He's going to thrive. And he'll thrive.
I've heard Elliot Friedman say before how very well respected like Craig Conroy is throughout the league. Not just as a player, what he did as a player, but like in the short time that he's been an executive, like he's been able to do some good things.
And that tells you that like because he hasn't gotten an extension yet, and we're going to get into that, by the way.
Yeah.
Like that tells you so much, right? And it's going to be fascinating to see if he makes these moves this season, will he get the extension?
Which I hope he does. Like, I hope he does because at the end of the day, right? I'm just saying, because at the end of the day, what do we want? We're talking about us. What do we want? We want there to be signs of life because the reason that fans are getting pissed off right now is the simple case of there is no clear direction that you're giving the fans.
You bet.
Because you either are in the position of you are a cup contender or you're at the bottom. You can't just constantly be in the middle. You can't be in that weird position where you want to try to win, but also you want to try to rebuild. It doesn't work that way. It's got to be one way or the other. And if Craig Conroy, at the end of the day, if Craig Conroy knows that he would probably get fired if he does what he needs to do that's best for the team, he strikes me as the kind of guy that would do it anyway.
I think so too.
He would do it for the sake of I'm trying to save this.
For the sake of the fans, the sake of your shareholders. For
He's played for this damn franchise for years.
He knows.
He knows
why I trust him more than anybody else behind there. Okay,
100%.
So take a deep breath. Let's relax. We're going to get through a little bit of a read here first. We're going to come back on the other side here and get to part 2 of the interview. There was more to part 1, but more importantly here in part 2, there was more in part 1, but I'm not even going to bother with it. It's a waste of time. Part 2, we'll talk more actually about the extension because it does get very interesting, the comments that were made there as well too. And then we'll hopefully wrap up with a little bit of more Flames talk as well.
We can talk about the games if we
All right. Let's get into a break here and we'll be back on the other side. Turkey, touchdowns, and takes. It's Thanksgiving and the action doesn't stop at the dinner table. Feast on some winnings this holiday with Pick 6, DraftKings' newest fantasy pick'em game. Just pick more or less or on 2 or more player stats. It's that simple. Pick 6 brings you upside those other pick'em sites can't touch. The better you perform, the bigger your payout. And it's available in most states, including Texas, California, Georgia, and more. You download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. For new DraftKings customers can play just $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. You make the call, ride the upside. It's in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. It must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Voided where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus word as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. Terms of pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
The holidays are here, and that means it's the most wonderful time of the year to save with Rakuten. Use Rakuten to stack cash back at your favorite stores on top of holiday sales. That's savings on savings. And with Rakuten, you can get cash back on gifts for everyone on your list, from toys for the kids to kitchen gear for the person who loves to cook, to electronics for everyone, and you can even save on something for yourself. Just shop the stores that you love, and cash back is automatically added to your account. And you can choose to get paid via Interact e-Transfer, PayPal, or checking. Join for free today and get a new member bonus after minimum qualifying purchases. Just go to Rakuten.ca, download the app, or install the browser extension, guys. That's Rakuten with an Rakuten for Rakuten. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, back on the other side here. Can I share a quick story too? Actually, I was just thinking about
go ahead. Sure,
last Monday night. So hockey pickup nights are Monday nights usually for me, right? So again tonight.
Right, I remember you telling me that.
So last week, okay, probably the most embarrassing performance I've had in a long time. So I'm standing in front of the net. Puck gets shot at the point. I know the type of player I am. I'm not the biggest person out there. I don't have muscle. So I just like to be a little bit of an annoying pest in front of the net and just grab garbage rebounds and see what happens.
Fair enough. Yep.
So there was a shot from the point, and I got in the way. It hit me in the shoulder, and I fell down.
Ow.
Right? Not a good look. It didn't hurt, but it was just the fact that the puck basically knocked me
Did
over.
it stun? Was it more of like it stunned you kind of thing, or no?
Not really. Like
Or
I
did
knew
it
was
get you
coming.
off balance? That's pretty much.
It got me off balance.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Well, then about an hour into the game, which is how long I'll usually go anyway. I'm trying to get back on defense because it's a 2-on-1. I'm trying to help it be more of a 2-on-2, right? Mm-hmm. So guy goes, he kind of makes a stop like in front of the hash marks.
Okay.
Because maybe the defender, like I can't really remember, but the defender kind of like forced it that way a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I see an opportunity to come in, and I'm like, perfect. I'm gonna get the puck off this guy. Yeah, I collide with him, and I basically bounce off of him and just fall flat on the ice. And the guy goes, "You good?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. That was my fault."
I'm sorry.
Because I'm like, and then I got off the ice afterwards.
You Canadians and you're apologizing.
Well, it's because like I fully went into him, and then I bounce off of him like a toothpick and fall on the ice. So it was pretty sad, to be honest. So I'm expecting.
Did anyone say anything to you?
No, but they were thinking it. They were thinking it.
You could tell. You were sitting on the bench, and you're like, I can tell I'm being judged right now.
No, I'm being judged. Yeah. So I more or less to say I got to have a better performance tonight so we can shake it off.
You got to lock the fuck in.
We got to lock in tonight. Yeah, we got to lock the fuck in tonight. Okay, let's get to part 2 of this, and then we'll get into the game that happened last night, and we're also going to talk Mikko Rantanen.
Oh yes, we need to talk
about that. Okay, so he keeps going with the conversation here. One of the questions revolving around Nazem Kadri, and Don Maloney goes, I think we need more Kadris, not less, being that he's 35 years old and he's a crucial part of this culture and the team. We need more of that type of winning. Sure, Don, can't wait to see him fly out the door, and then that revolves around Craig Conroy probably not being extended because he wants to move a guy like Kadri out. But oh no, Don Maloney insists that we have to keep guys like Kadri. Yes, it's not a bad thing, but the fucker isn't a first-line center. So anyway, started part 2.
He's like a third liner, I think, on like a lot of cup contending teams, respectfully.
Sure.
But that's not a disrespect to him. I think that shows you the kind of. Yeah,
I actually think he's a really good second line center. I think easily for that. Okay, so he goes into Eric Francis now begins talking about Conroy, and he asks, "How would you assess the job Craig Conroy has done through the entirety of his time here so far?"
Right.
I think Craig has been excellent in creating an environment, a culture here of being proud to play in Calgary. I think his biggest strength is his relationship with the players, which is excellent. He cares, and they know he cares. I think the first year was very difficult with the number of good players we had at the end of their contracts. A couple of those guys would probably help us right now, but we got through that. Okay, think about that. I think year 2 was very strong, but again, you want to keep the pressure on each other, and why we say we want to be a playoff team. We don't want to go into the season saying we want to draft in the top 5. I don't want it in any way, shape, or form to be associated with that, because then why are we doing this? Just to fantasize we're going to get a star player. So think about that for a second. Think about the way he answered that question. Okay? It was all positive, but I'm waiting for that but. And there was. Let me reiterate what he said. A couple of those guys would probably help us right now, but we got through that, referring to his first year being very difficult with the number of good players they had.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall in the first year the trade between the Devils and the Flames? That was the first big domino that fell. It was
Yep.
the Tyler Toffoli trade, right?
Yep.
Which
Yep.
brought Igor Sharangovich over, right? That was the
Mhm.
first domino that fell.
That was the first one. Yep.
What do you think he's saying there, though? Think about this. A couple of those guys would probably help us right about now. In his first year, Tyler Toffoli was the domino that fell,
Mhm.
right? Which in turn, in the following year, it led to Elias Lindholm being gone, Zadorov being gone, and Markstrom being shipped off too.
Mm. I think I'm
What
getting.
I'm saying,
I think I'm
you
getting.
get what I'm putting down here?
I think I do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm putting down is the fact that it was all positive here within this answer, but he thinks some of those guys can help, right?
Yeah.
You look back 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, whenever it started.
Yep.
This team was in the mushy middle.
True.
He thinks some of those guys would help now. But look at what you got back, right? Sure, Sharangovich hasn't been the same, but you saw the positivity in the fact that for a 24-year-old at the time who had a really great year for the Flames, like that's the potential that you can see, right?
Yeah.
You look at the return that you got for Elias Lindholm. Look at Matt Begredin right now, the draft pick that you got from Vancouver.
Look at where Lindholm is now.
Right, look where he is now. You're telling me he's going to help you?
Yeah.
So that's why I brought up before the break that it's going to be very interesting to see if Kadri goes, because that could hurt the relationship between Craig Conroy and a guy like Don Maloney.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's going to be
I do.
fascinating to watch over the next 2 months. This is going to be the best drama off the ice, because you're going to get, like, it's going to be Craig Conroy being like, we need to get rid of these guys, to Don Maloney going, no, they can help us now.
And that's that right there shows
He's not
you
bonkers.
it shows you the discontent, honestly, that there is between Maloney and Conroy right there. I mean, you know, that's just it.
Sorry, before you continue, cherry on top, the next question real quick. Conroy's in the final year of his contract. Why hasn't he been extended? Don goes, we keep that internal. We're not discussing that. We have a certain process we go through here.
It sounds very clear to me. This is what it sounds. This is what it sounds like to me. It's clearly obvious to me that how Conroy handles the next couple of months will ultimately determine his fate. If he goes with what Maloney and co want him to do, he will stay. He will get a contract extension and go from there. If he decides what is best for the team and he goes in the opposite of what they want, he won't be back. He may not get fired right away, but he just won't be back. He will be let go. And it'll be a classic, like 6 months from now, we'll look at it and they'll go, the Flames and Craig Conroy have agreed to mutually part ways, bullshit, like kind of thing. And
there will be a reckoning between fans and ownership.
And ultimately, the problem then is this. Okay, so the damage is done. Let's say, for all intents and purposes, Kadri gets moved. Coleman gets moved. Anderson gets moved. Let's just use those three guys as examples.
Sure.
So now you're left with a team that definitely doesn't have as many veterans. You traded away your most valuable assets, which is fine, and you got whatever you got back. The question then becomes, whoever the next GM is, how much control does he have? The answer is probably going to be not as much, because again, Maloney will still be there. Right. Unless the ownership decides that Maloney has to go.
Murray Edwards decides, which I can't see that.
Which I don't see happening.
No.
So
yeah.
It's
interesting.
Really concerning about like reading that paragraph. It's like
it's scary to read that.
He's saying basically that Maloney is fighting for his not Maloney, that Conroy is fighting for his job.
It's which he
this is year 3.
Which he shouldn't have to.
No.
We all expected this when Craig Conroy first started. So it's funny, actually, you brought up a good point, though, about the veterans, right? if Coleman goes, Kadri and Anderson, blah blah blah, they go, right?
Yeah.
You still have veterans in Huberdeau and Uyghur there,
Yes.
right? Like it's not like you're getting rid of all the veterans.
No.
There's too many veterans on this team.
Yeah.
Right?
You
Like
still have Backlund too.
right. You still have Backlund.
You still have your captain.
Right. Which I don't know if I still agree with Conroy extending him, but whatever.
But
right?
that also may not have been Conroy's call, Kyle. That brings back to this point.
You wonder if that was his decision.
Maybe Conroy didn't want to do that, but Maloney told him to.
Right. I would die to ask Craig, like, how much influence did you have on that?
Yeah.
I don't think, listen, man, we're not stupid. They honestly believe we're idiots. Reading this is not stupid. We know,
No,
right?
it's obvious what it is.
It's so obvious. And that's why off the ice, this is going to be the most fascinating thing to watch
1,000%.
all off season.
1,000%.
So real quick here,
here
I wanted to bring the last part here. Yes, this was about Ryan. Let's move on to Huska now because he talks about Ryan Huska. So Francis asks, how would you assess Huska's done as a coach? I think Ryan's an excellent coach. I think that this has been a very difficult time for him and his staff as well. I think he's got a good feel for how we have to play. Okay? How we have to play. But at the end of the day, we are where we are in the standings. Ultimately, the coach controls that as well. There's areas of our game that we know we have to improve and make some changes, like our power play. Ultimately, that is a coach. We have no intention of thinking there is need to rejig our coaching staff at all. Ryan is a good coach for this team and needs to continue to work to get more out of what we have here. To get more out of what we have here. You fucking did that last year, Don. You did that last year. You sucked everything that you could have out of this team. And by God, they almost made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You saw the potential. You got the most out of them. That is the best that this group is going to do. What you saw last year was a miracle that they even got to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first part of that question, I still agree with this. I think Ryan is a very good coach. But Neil, he's got a good feel for how we have to play.
That's the quote.
Right. Defensively and needing our goaltenders to step up, basically. Right? Oh, we got to rejig power play too. Well, sorry, like you got to have goal scorers and you don't have that on this team. These guys can't score. It's been their problem. We're not dumb. So, again, this relates to Craig in the sense that they have to play his system. Ryan is implementing the system that, because he says it, he thinks that I think he's got a good feel for how we have to play.
Sure.
So, throughout this interview, it's becoming more and more apparent. And whatever, he talks about Gridden and Perek and no more about Anderson, whatever. Like it goes on.
At this point, who cares?
Whatever. Who cares at this point? But I mean, it's clearly apparent now, if it hasn't already, that we know who holds the key. It's ownership and the president of hockey operations.
Right.
Who frankly should not even have job. Like honestly, like those job titles shouldn't even exist. To be honest,
I agree.
Because like if you're going to control all that, why have a GM and why have the coach?
What's the point?
What's the point? What do you fucking know about how well Ryan Husky can? Like maybe he knows something better here. What do you know about what Craig Conroy knows? Who's a fucking player in the league and you haven't been?
Right. And I mean, there are teams in the league that have their GM also president of hockey ops. Which, like, also, like, what's the point of calling him that too? Because essentially, he, as the GM, isn't that already kind of your job to do that? Like, isn't your job to like build the team? Like, it's these are titles that I don't get why they're there. Maybe to just look cooler. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is that what I take away from that whole piece is nothing more than a major criticism of Craig Conroy. Unfair criticism to Craig Conroy.
Well,
and basically saying that, oh, we have a way that we want to build this team and everything, and our GM doesn't want to do that because he wants to rebuild. And it's like, you now have a battle. This is a face-off between ownership and the president of hockey ops versus Craig Conroy and the entire fan base of the Calgary Flames.
Beautifully put.
And that's what this is.
Yep.
And basically, I'm going to be very blunt by saying this. If you're Craig Conroy, I think you should just say F it and do it. Trade these guys.
Fucking do it.
And get the assets. And basically put whoever the new GM is, fair or not fair, in at least a position where, like, you have a way of going about it.
Yeah.
But that GM may not have any control.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just the boys club. That is what we are dealing with. And if you don't believe me, ask Boston Bruin fans what it's like to have the boys club be in charge of your franchise. I don't want to hear about how the Bruins have done this year so far. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, call me at the end of the year with that one.
They're going to, yes, at some point, this ain't going to be this way. That team is not that good.
I don't think I think it's all smoke and mirrors, to be honest.
Yes, because most of it is David Pastrnak carrying that team.
Yeah.
That's
not
what
going to happen
is.
come playoff time because you need all 12 guys on the front and you're 6 on the back and you're goalie.
Yes, but ask any Bruins fan who's been around long enough, especially since, Cam Neely and co. have been in charge, how many different things they've done that made no sense. They disrespected Brad Marchand to the point where he didn't want to be there anymore. And he was willing to stick it out.
Well, it wasn't on Brad, though, right? He wanted to stay.
No, I'm not blaming Brad. No. I'm talking about the executive branch in the boys club doing everything possible to piss off their captain.
Yeah.
And no Bruins fan's going to forgive them for that. No Bruins fan's going to forgive them for how they treated, several of their big time guys downstream. I mean, and think about this, Kyle. They were very close to not extending Pastrnak. They were a lot closer than people realize because they were being penny pinchers. They were trying to get Pastrnak to sign a long-term deal at $8.5 million per year, which I get would have been a hell of a steal. But there was no way that Pastrnak was going to go for that.
No.
There's no shot.
No way.
So it brings me back to us. If the boys club wants it a certain way, then by God, that's what's going to happen.
Sure.
And there ain't a damn thing that Craig Conroy can do about it because Craig Conroy is proving, and I'm saying this in a positive light for him and me vouching for him, that he is saying, I am not following this. This is not going to give us winning. This is going to put us in the muddled middle where we are constantly not in a position to rebuild properly, and we're never going to get to a point where it's going to be a cup contending team. And no amount of money that you're going to have in cap space over the next 3 or 4 years is going to change that.
Sure.
So I would say to Craig Conroy, especially I'm 100% certain he has read this piece. I am 100% certain he read this.
Oh.
If I was him, I would say, screw it. I'm going balls to the walls. I am going to make the necessary moves that is going to help this team in the long term. And if I lose my job, I don't care.
Maybe I did God's work.
And maybe.
And we would all praise him for it, right?
Right.
We'd all praise him for it.
I don't think there are other teams in the league that didn't read that and immediately thought to themselves, wow, he doesn't have a lot of control over there, does he? And that's why if your other teams call Calgary right now,
Yeah.
do it.
I would honestly
And tell
wait till
Craig,
3 o'clock
listen.
in the morning. Wait till these guys are asleep and make these moves.
Sure. And I would tell Craig, listen, I know what's going on now. I get it. So here's the thing. I'm willing to do business with you if you really want to get down to business and like make these moves and
Sure.
you don't care about the repercussions.
Sure.
And it's not like, that means that Craig Conroy is going to get lowball offers. It's just more of a thing of like, we're willing to really actually do business with you.
I'm at a point with I don't even think it's about lowballing anymore because I don't foresee that really happening, right? Like the trade is gonna be the trade with these guys, and you're gonna get what you're gonna get, right? And
Right.
you can be picky about it if you want, like
Sure.
whatever, right?
Sure.
The more important thing to cover in all of this is just gonna be the aftermath, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is
The first
like,
couple days after is going to be fascinating.
couple of days when the season's over afterwards, and
If
you
he's
guys
still there.
decide to extend this guy, if he's still there,
Right.
How do you want to do this? Right.
Mhm.
Like I think that's more important. Like the trades are gonna be the trades, and we'll evaluate them and we'll see what happens if it comes to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Anderson, for some reason, still can't decide if he wants to stay or not. And at this point, I don't really give a shit. And you shouldn't have. He should not have that much. Bro, he should not have this much say. Ship the motherfucker out to Seattle for all I care.
Okay, that's a bit much.
Whatever. Ship him to Buffalo. I don't care. Put him in Buffalo for all I care. Put him in Buffalo. Screw it. I don't care about your feelings anymore. Oh, boo-hoo. Cry me a river. Like,
fair.
Honestly, I don't care. Ship Kadri out to Buffalo, and maybe they'll bite and give us our first.
What if we put all three of them in one trade?
Done. Ship them to Buffalo. Ship all three of them to Buffalo. Congratulations, Kadri. You got your 1,000 games. Anderson had his time here. Coleman's been great. Fuck him. Send him out to Buffalo. I
think Sabres fans would be more upset about the trade than we would.
Probably. Honestly. Probably.
Yeah.
But they might do it. So what is going to be fascinating this season out of all of this is not the trades itself.
Nope.
But what's going to happen afterwards if these trades are done.
Yep.
That's going to be the most beautiful.
That's what it comes down to.
All of this. Because then we're going to see how, will they have the balls to fire him afterwards after doing this? Because if they do, we're going to know exactly why you did it. So glad we covered that today because I thought it was really important because that's the culmination of this season, right? It is these next 2 months are the most important months in Calgary Flames history. All they realistically have to do, Neil, is finish bottom 3. And they're going to put themselves in position to get a chance to win the draft lottery. Bottom 3 is all we're asking for at this point. Because either way, you can go get, if McKenna's not first, he might be second, or you can go get Stenberg, who I think is a stud out in Sweden right now. He is sensational.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, glad we covered that. Thank you for indulging me on that. Really, really quick before we go here. Let's talk about what happened over the weekend. Obviously, a big win on Saturday against the Stars. We'll get into Mikko Rantanen very quickly. We'll quickly talk about last night as well, too. For the first time all year, the Flames decided they wanted to score 5 goals. They scored 5 straight against Vancouver. They win at 5-2. That is their 3rd win in a row here. Coleman scored. Anderson had 3 points. Huge for his trade value. Vancouver's now lost 6 of 7.
This team is the cup run is back on, Kyle.
I know. After all that, right?
Back. They score like this every game. I mean, and look, they got outshot by 9 shots.
5 goals on 21 shots there on Vancouver. That's alarming.
They were even better in the faceoff dot.
Yeah.
Who is this team?
Shorthanded goal from Blake Coleman. He made it 5-1. Sharon Govich got on the board. Kevin Ball scored.
Good for
last
him.
night.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah,
and then Quinn Hughes had a nasty goal at the end.
He had
a nasty.
It reminds me of the meme, the Chris Paul meme that says he cuts the lead to 47.
Yep. Basically. So anyway, it was a good win last night there for the Flames. Give them credit, three in a row. It's 3 really good wins, but again, they're going to be tested coming up here on the road in these Southeast games coming up.
I really appreciate, by the way, because we didn't really talk about it, that the Flames picked up Beecher off of waivers from.
Oh, thank you. I forgot to do
You're
that.
welcome.
Yes,
Yeah,
John Beecher.
which honestly, I was all for. I was surprised that he was even put on waivers. I'm again. Does this not prove my point about the Bruins?
I know,
'Cause
right?
that's still
I actually really like that pickup because he's
I do.
24?
He's 24.
24.
He literally
Yeah.
can now be a part of this core, like moving forward.
I
Literally
agree.
at
I
this point.
actually really like this pickup from Calgary. I
Right.
think a lot of people would probably went and picked him up.
What I appreciated from the Flames locker room was, then they posted it on Twitter. I saw it after the game. They gave a puck to Cooley. He had a really good game.
Yep.
All that stuff. He is a lengthy MFer, by the way.
I know.
It's like 100 and nothing. A wet. 100.
He's crazy. It's crazy. I know.
It's crazy. But they actually also gave a puck to Beecher and like welcome to the team. I thought that was great. I like.
Great.
I saw the look on his face. I feel bad for him because I think he really didn't want to. It's not that he didn't want to go to Calgary. I think it's more just like he didn't want to leave Boston and be put in that position.
But dude, your career could be on the line, dude. If you're put on waivers, your career's on the line.
Yeah.
So this is a good way for him to resurrect a career where it's going to be a bunch of 21 to 24-year-olds.
And think about Gustav Forsling, right?
Yep.
Gustav Forsling is the prime example of guy gets put on waivers. The Panthers just take a chance on romance and pick him up, and now he's a top flight defenseman.
Bingo. And I think there's opportunity there, and I really agree. We're
not saying that Beecher's going to be like a top flight player for the Flames.
But I could see him being a third line center.
And look, you needed a center.
Yeah,
you needed a center, and now you
got
got one.
Next year, like you're going to put Backlund on the fourth line. Like I think you have to.
That's fine.
And I would stick Beecher on the third line center. I wouldn't have a problem with that if they continue to go with him. Yeah, I think he was a great pickup. I'm glad you brought that up. Actually,
I knew. I mean, there were some teams that definitely had interest in him, but like I don't remember the Flame. It was really talked about that the Flames were like on the radar of like teams that were interested, but they picked them up, and that's fine.
It was a great pickup. Yeah, really solid pickup.
Who made that move?
Conroy.
That's my point.
Bingo. Last thing that we'll cover here was the ugly hit that Mikko Rantanen had on Saturday against Matthew Coronato.
I forgot to go.
Gets one game.
One.
Agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Disagree, yeah.
I disagree because this is the second offense in a week.
Yes, because he took Romanoff out for a couple of months.
Which, by the way, Romanoff is out for most of the rest of the regular season.
Yeah.
So good job on that. And by the way, when Dallas pulls up to UBS Arena, Rantanen is going to get jumped, like right away.
Well, I think that was their only game in UBS this year.
No. The Stars, the hit that happened to Richie, that was in Dallas.
Oh,
remember,
right,
Patrick Ross said.
They have to go
Patrick Ross said as Rantanen was going off the ice, "Wait till you come to Long Island."
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Yeah.
He will get jumped.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to do it.
He's not going to survive it.
Somebody's going to go. Somebody's going to just hit him and suffer the consequences.
So with that, and then if Coronado goes down, what if he breaks his face and is out for 3 months? Like, I don't understand one game. Oh, go have dinner while we go play, basically.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
One
game.
Our players get protected, Kyle. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but like let's call it like it is. I'm just gonna call it like it is. If Rantanen got a suspension that he deserved, which I'd have to
I think it should have been 10.
Yeah. But think about it. But I don't want to sit here and tell you that I'm defending the NHL for this.
Sure.
Don't think for a second that they're not thinking like if we give him a suspension that quite frankly he deserves, that could be very detrimental to the Stars in terms of their play and like trying to win. And I know we're all like, boo-hoo, who gives a crap? Because it doesn't matter to us.
Right.
Both of these plays were cheap shots.
Oh, it was such cheap shots.
When I first saw the play that happened with Richie, my initial reaction was unfortunate. Richie tripped and Rantanen was right there, and there's not much Rantanen could do to stop the play. But then you look and he goes, no, he got tripped. He literally got tripped when he didn't have to. It was unnecessary. And then what happened with Coronado, again, unnecessary.
It is. It is. It's a shame.
And I don't think, was Lomberg in the lineup for...
no, but you know what I did like afterwards when Coronado got hit? Jonathan Huberdeau was right on top of him afterwards, trying to beat the crap out of him. So I can appreciate that out of Huberdeau, that he was right there. I would have loved it if
Lomberg was in that game, because I would have sent his ass out there.
Oh, you know it. And next time if Lomberg's in there, he's going to be bullying Mikko Rantanen.
He's going to go for it.
Oh, yeah, at that point, who cares? Just bully the crap.
Dude, that's the thing, right? People say, like, oh, like, you don't want to hurt your team. Well, here's the thing, right? When you don't have an opportunity in that moment to settle a score, you're going to find it at some point.
Yeah.
Like, I think about
the Islanders are going to get that opportunity.
Oh, big time.
Oh, boy.
But my favorite example of all time, Kyle, is, and I'll give you a little history lesson, was when Chris Draper got the absolute crap kicked out of him by Claude Lemieux. Little elbow to the back of the head with the stanchion, broke his nose, broke his face. Yep. And there wasn't, and I remember them saying, like, there wasn't a time yet to really go after him. And then eventually it was that one game where they just decided, screw it. Somebody go after him. And it just became this whole line brawl.
Right.
And it was awesome. Absolute cinema. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Because even the goalies get into it. It's this whole thing, which would never happen now, unfortunately. Not counting Detroit.
Well, the Hurricanes and the Capitals had a little skirmish.
And we had the Detroit Rangers not too long ago, which that was like after the game, that was at the end of the game, but nonetheless.
Did you see the Steelheads player in the OHL? Did you see that with this?
Did he finally get suspended?
Yeah, he's gone for the year.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he's gone.
That's what I thought. I saw a headline, but I didn't read it fully. But I had a feeling it had to do with that kid that did that. I mean, I would.
That's like
play next year.
That's like criminal, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually like assault. That's not even like that's not one of those where you go, oh, that's just part of the game. That's just like the kid just decided in his own right, I'm gonna kill the like.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was
assault at the end of the day.
I mean, granted, I'm not saying Rantanen assaulted somebody.
No, but he deserves to sit for a few games.
He needs to sit for a week, 2 weeks, something like because when you like don't make an example of somebody, especially a top flight player, the rest of the league will look at that and say, oh, well, if he doesn't get suspended for that and he only gets suspended one game for that, dude, I can do much worse and probably still get away with it.
It's totally true. Okay.
I just wanted to really quickly point this out because someone sent it to me, and because nobody shuts up about it in this area. But like the interview that Quinn Hughes gave after the game against the Flames last night.
Yeah.
I think he's given up.
He's done.
Honest with you, he looks like he has had it.
Bro, Sheloff's now out in Pittsburgh was like, this practice arena is so much better than Vancouver's. Bo Horvat said
I'm going on a trip to Vancouver. I'm going to be fascinated to look around and see like what the vibe is.
Oh boy, people do not like playing in Vancouver for some reason. But
maybe Quinn will be on another team by the time I go to that game.
Oh, no.
Who knows? That would be
fascinating. I would argue the Canucks are in a bit of a worse situation than we are.
I mean, their ownership is a joke.
Yeah.
And it's been a joke. I mean, they thought getting Evander Kane was a good idea.
Yeah, I know. It was pretty bad.
Like, we talk about our ownership and like the situation which is not good.
Could be worse.
But that's the thing. I was like, do I really want to say out loud, like, it always could be worse.
Could be worse.
There aren't that many. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
It's true. Happy Thanksgiving on Thursday coming up.
Thank you.
I will
American Thanksgiving. Let's clarify.
I pretty much have no work on Thursday because the people that I normally deal with are mainly from the U.S.
For people like Kyle, it's a random Thursday.
Yes, but it's also a day where, for Thursday and frankly Friday, nobody's going to be checking their laptops, and a lot of the people that I usually deal with are from the U.S. to begin with. So
if you get code, please on Thursday, I am going to laugh so hard.
Yeah, be crazy. I'm gonna be watching football Thursday though. I'll throw on the TV. Should be good.
Isn't that like a hockey game? Aren't they like? Or is it
Maybe.
the day after?
No, day after. Day after, I think.
They put the
I think it's-
Rangers and Bruins in like some
Ooh,
things.
yeah, I can't wait.
That nobody gives a fuck about.
Yeah, can't
But,
wait. Also, too, just last thing before we go, we are a month away from the World Juniors. Was talking to Dylan this morning. We're going to be doing actually a lot of coverage coming up for the World Juniors, which is going to be great. So I'm going to be
Really
doing at least
excited
two
about
games.
that.
Dylan will be doing some games as well too.
And it gets you hyped up for the Olympics too, because you got that, and then you got the
And
Olympics
that's coming around the corner as well too.
February.
So I'm already going to be doing the gold medal game in the final. If you guys want to come check us out, and I believe I'm doing Canada and Switzerland as well too in the preliminary round. So yeah, a lot of coverage coming up for the World Juniors. So
gonna be a lot of fun.
exciting. Awesome. All right, good stuff. Thank you for indulging in that today, Neil, and good stuff as always.
Yeah, likewise.
And hopefully I don't fall on my face tonight, and I'll let you know if it happens next week.
We need it. Yeah, we need an update.
Yeah, we need you said it. You gotta lock into that.
After the game, you got to give us a video. You got to tell us.
Gotta lock in. I'll
Yep.
do like
Lock-
an interview
lock it,
afterwards.
dig- You got to
I'll
listen
lock
to
in.
that Connor McDavid clip where he just yells at everyone, says, "Dig the fucking right."
Right now.
Right. Yeah.
All right, good
There you
stuff. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving for Thursday for the US, our
Thank
US
you.
folks, and we'll chat everybody on next Monday. So good rest of
Later,
the week.
guys.
See you guys.